Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, you know there's just 311 days until Christmas 2022. And yesterday was like Christmas for me. I got my vintage collection Razor Crest. There's the box here. And I've got the model largely put together. There's still a ton of things. We've got all kinds of weapons here to put in. And there's a lot. But you guys, the size of this. Oh, let's see. I got to show you the size of this because sitting there behind me, you don't really get the full scope of just how big this thing is. Like, this thing is huge. It is enormous. Look, when you see the size of it, it is absolutely stunning. I am super excited to have it here, and we'll be talking more about that as we go forward. Let me see. I done made a mess for myself. Balance, careful. I picked it up and it was on the stand here, so now I've got to get it repositioned. You guys bear with me with 1 second here. Hold on. Bear with me. I've got to get it set up here, put back on the stand so I can set it back down, and there we go. Oh my goodness. So there we go. It's absolutely stunning. It is a fantastic. Here we go. Let's turn it this way. There you go. All right. It's absolutely stunning. It's huge. It's fantastic. And I am super excited to have it. You guys, good to see you all here again today. We're going to talk about some news. We're going to look at some Fanfilm and just have a good fun. So there you go. When I found the hidden tail gun, that is pretty exciting. I was playing with it earlier today. I was getting the tail gun out and turreting around and all of that. It is a ton of fun. So let me bring in my happy birthday, Sheev. Yes, thanks for using background for your birthday. You're welcome. Sheev had the bet that Cad Bane was going to die and that Boba Fett was going to kill him. And you know what? It seems the way it comes across. Hey, my friend Jason from Polyhedral Paradise. So good to see you here. Jason is planning last year, I got really, really excited because Jason did a charity event for mental health. And mental health is a thing that is very important to me. It's something that I think is under treated here in the States and probably worldwide. I know here in the States, it's not near what it needs to be. And Jason did a live stream to raise funds and awareness for mental health and gaming. He's planning that again for this year. I hope to be able to support him in that. You guys pay attention. We'll be putting information out here as we get closer to that event. And then this summer is Santa's 55th birthday. Double nickels, 55. This summer, I am going to take a cue from Jason from Polyhedral Paradise. I'm going to take a cue from him, and we're also going to try to do a charity event to raise awareness for mental health. So it's a really good thing. Yes, and Jason Ward, yes, please, if you all would like the stream, share it out there. Let people know what we're doing here. Meg, yes, 55, really, 55. Meg, it's so good to see you. Yes, and so here we are. We've got a magic maker with us. How are you doing this week, my friend?
I'm doing good, but I think you mean like 1755.
1755.
Yeah,
I had to.
St. Nicholas is like in the 3rd century.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So it's great. We're gonna, and I've shared. I've struggled with depression pretty much my whole life. I didn't realize it was what it is when I was in high school, and I self-treated with music. and of course Star Wars and those kind of things, Star Trek, TV, video games, and music. And I became a very good trombone player because it helped me when I was going through depression. And I know that people get absolutely trapped in video games for escape, and it can devastate relationships and things like that. So I think it's very, very important. I think it's something that for whatever we can do to raise awareness for treating mental health, that would be really good. And it's something that this community helps me with every single day. So there you go.
Yeah,
And
I don't know if people realize, I mean, how much things do affect them. I don't want to make this overblown, but there's definitely been some periods and times in my life, in retrospect, like I think I was depressed or I was dealing with some issues like I didn't know at the time. And, following deployments, following changes in life status, those things kind of occur for me. This is it for me. And like at the time, I didn't realize I was going through them. But in retrospect, I go, oh, wow. Yeah, I think I was like really suffering from something during that time.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah. It's still something.
Took me like, that retrospective to realize it. And realizing how much I affected other people around me during that period of time, but I didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah, and it's something that my kids, my oldest has a little bipolar. The youngest deals with anxiety. My wife's on antidepressants. It's something that has hit our family pretty severely, and for a while, it was tough. It was really tough. But we also seem to be doing much better. And hey, I saw Mike Porter got in early. He's not going to be able to stay, but his dad's getting moved to a brand new nursing home today. And so he's going to be out. So he gave us a bonus dad joke for the day. He said, why doesn't Star Wars Santa ever live stream with a Ghostbuster? Oh, because Ghostbusters don't like to cross streams. Oh, thanks so much, Mike Porter. Just another wonderful, wonderful human being in this community. So look, we've got
on the spirit of Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. So LRM, this is a really good article, and I saw this in here. I saw it making its rounds today. There's been some really good coverage of it, and I thought this was really, really well done. Oh, and Star Wars 95 says Santa makes Tim right look a baby, and he's 5 years older. You know who else is older than Santa, or same age? Ming-Na Wen. Oh my goodness, Ming-Na Wen. So it's pretty bad. Santa looks way older. So there you have it. Hey, X-Wing is here. X-Wing is getting one of the Razor Crests that I ordered. I ordered 3. X-Wing's getting one of them. Of course, I opened another. We've got another one coming in. Yeah, dinosaurs. So look, this article here from LRM Online, they're talking about John Williams. And this is fascinating because my friend Jason Ward, he's here, and Jason and I talk from time to time, and he says, hey, this story's not quite ready, or this is, what I'm working on when we're not on the air. And a lot of same kind of things that they talk about here are the same sort of things that Jason and I talk about. And you can see where in the article, they said that, hey, they had some news some days ago, and it says they didn't run the story because they wanted to get more information. All they knew at the time, they were told that it said, we were told John Williams was helping to score Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, they didn't want to run with it because they didn't know, what does that mean? They didn't know, does that mean he's doing a track? He's expanding it. He's writing all new. He's maybe, what is the scope of this work that he's doing? and they were holding the story until they got more information. And this is very much like what Jason Ward does. Jason, when he's talking to me, goes, I'm just not comfortable running this yet. I'm working on this story. I got to get more information. And so that's what LRM was doing. They were kind of waiting. And then there was an interview that came out, and it was about the Rings of Power. And almost 2 hours into the 2 hours into the interview, they said that John Williams were in a recording studio yesterday with an orchestra. The name on the door outside was Kenobi. And they're like, oh, we got to run the story now. And so they ran the story, and they still don't have the answer. They still don't know, what is the scope of it? What is the extent of the work? We can't say. So to me, I really liked the perspective of this story, first of all, because it's the same sort of things that Jason and I talk about from time to time, and to see Jason's a really responsible scooper, right? He makes sure that he double checks things and he gets permission. He's on the up and up, and he tries to do his best. And here we see, LRM, they don't always get the stories 100% right, but this is the kind of work that scoopers do to make sure that when they're reporting to you, that they're telling you the best information they can. So how excited are you to hear John Williams is working on the Kenobi series?
I was going to say, it turns out that Kenobi is actually a code name for the Ahsoka series.
You're a little bit quiet today.
Let me turn it up. Okay.
I'm having trouble hearing it. Yeah. Meg says we're going to get Force theme in Kenobi. I'll cry if we get to Force theme. I think that that's going to happen. And I keep hearing people talk about how the Andor series is going to be super, super exciting. And Meg covered some of the Andor stories today. And that spy thriller genre for Star Wars has me super excited. So not only am I excited that on May the 4th, we should be getting Bad Batch. May 25th, yes. Yes, Meg, I know. LRM's the ones that said Bosk was in the Book of Boba Fett. That's why I mentioned they're not always accurate, right? They're not always correct, but when you see the kind of homework that they were doing before they released this story, you get an idea what they try to do, right? So yeah, I'm super excited. John Williams is coming, doing some work. I'm anxious to hear what else it is. And when we get to the Kenobi series and X-Wing, there you go. When we see Leia as a little baby on Alderaan, and I'm certain we're going to see that too. We're going to see a young Luke and a young Leia. You got that mic all worked out yet? Imagine.
Yeah, I think I got the wrong mic in there. It's picking up my another mic. I don't know if it's fixed at all.
It sounds maybe just a tad better. Maybe just a tad better. It could be better yet.
I'll have to log on and then log off and come right back on.
Okay. Well, I'll watch for you.
The wrong mic, though. I'll tell you that. That doesn't help.
True. So there's another story, and a Magic Maker reminded me of this. It's from earlier in the week. This Old Republic trailer came out, and I'll just mute this because by now most of you have already seen this. It's Star Wars: The Old Republic, Disorder. This is it just came out the 15th, so 2 days ago. This looks absolutely fantastic. And I don't play video games, but I've watched some footage of other guys. And a Magic Maker, you wanted to talk about some of the implications of this footage, this trailer.
Yeah, something we've kind of been talking about, and in the way that the Jedi pick their Padawans and those that learn, and basically the rules of the Jedi and what they think and what their purpose is, and So I can let this play through if you want me to, and just let people watch it, and then we can talk about
No,
it.
no, no. Talk while it's going. We're not going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things we talked about last week, what we never touched on, was the idea that Grogu just getting to come back and do his thing, be a Force user, and whatever the implications happen, and with no thought of what might happen should this little Force user decide to do things against people, what that means, and the same thing with Ahsoka. Man, we love Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka as a character. But the idea that she just gets to leave the Jedi Order with her Force powers intact and go do whatever she wants to do, when while they don't believe she will be, they didn't believe Dooku was going to be the next Sith Lord either. Oh, he's not a Sith Lord. He's a he's just a politician or whatever they say. I don't remember what he said. But yeah, he was the next Sith Lord, right? And under Palpatine, and so this idea that these guys get to walk away with their Force power seems antithetical to the idea of why they even pick children to be these be the Jedi themselves and to what they're supposed to do. So I mean, to me it's a bit of cheating, really, to have these. It's one thing for them to leave and then become become a dark side practitioner, because they've decided to leave. It's another thing to be allowed to leave with those powers intact. Effectively, what you're creating when you have these guys with all these powers, these guys can influence people. It's not just that they have the ability to move rocks. They literally can influence people's minds. So, I mean, you're literally releasing the potential space Hitlers into space every time you release these guys. And the reason why they pick them up so young is so that they don't become space Hitlers. I mean, I hate to use that term, but I mean, it is really what it comes down to. The reason why there's very little choice, why they get them young, and so they can remove all these aspects from them that create mental blocks and cause the problems for people as they come into adulthood, because they're dealing with all these general psychological aspects of what we go through as we grow up, when we're dealing with imperfect rearing, I guess you could say, and the aspects of dealing with whether it's bullying or whatever. But when you're in a Jedi Order, you have this controlled environment that they can they can imprint upon you. So anyway, so I mean, the idea of releasing these guys, and then idea of why they choose people in this. One of the things that's in this this trailer, of course, is they choose the daughter or the sister, and not the brother, and so that have this, and Malgus, of course, then says, hey, they use their godlike powers to choose people, right? And they choose who they want to become powerful and who they don't, and they leave others to squander in slavery, what it appears, because he has a chain around his neck, right? So the same thing with Anakin leaving the mother, and when they picked Anakin, the mother stayed in slavery, which created this emotional issue for him, right? So you have all these different things. It's just this aspect of the Jedi that is, it's really dark. It doesn't make them look good in the sense, but it's like this, that they pick them for this collective good, I guess you could say, but then they don't follow through on so many different things. So anyway, that's the idea of what I was talking about, and we talked about that before, and I didn't know how you thought about it, and you were like, yeah, I don't know, and so
Well, for me,
really brings you back up.
Yeah, for me, the Jedi are the Jedi Order is trying to keep people with force sensitivity, trying to train them from an early age so that they don't misuse the force power. The concept of being able to take away a power that somebody innately has seems wrong to me. More of
taking them at a very young age seems really wrong to me as well.
Well, that too, but the point is, in the way that midichlorians are supposed to be is similar to the way mitochondria are supposed to be. Mitochondria are natural in every person, and when with athletes, it is they have higher mitochondria, and the more they train, the more that become the more they have in their system. It's a indicator of how much physical ability somebody has. And so it'd be like taking away somebody's natural physical ability just because they don't like the potential of what they become if they don't stay with the Jedi Order. To me, that's far worse of a concept, and I'm glad that they don't have that concept in Star Wars. If you have force sensitivity, if you are force sensitive, and you can master those abilities to whatever degree, for good, for bad, for whatever, that is for you. But if the idea that the here it is, the legacy of the Sith. So somebody asked earlier, what video game is this? It's Star Wars: The Old Republic, Legacy of the Sith. It'll be coming out later.
But on Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah. So for me,
this isn't a new concept. This isn't like I came up with this concept. The whole idea that you can blank somebody's memory of stuff is not new. I mean, that's
no. I know that they can take their memory, but to take their power, to take their ability, that's a whole different thing. So again, I think there are fundamental issues with the Jedi Order, and it's some things that we've been seeing them explore more and more as the franchise matures over time. Yeah. And we've seen it in the High Republic. They address it, and they've got these way seekers who aren't willing to stay under the strict authority of the Jedi Order, but they want to explore the will of the Force on their own. So they don't need to, they kind of reject being a member of the Order in full, but they have this sort of distant relationship to the Jedi Order. And then, of course, you've got Force users. In this trailer, the brother has some Force sensitivity that they decided not enough. His Force sensitivity was too weak, and that hers was much higher. Her potential was much higher, so they brought her in for that. So I think that they were kind of, Malgus is trying to twist the facts, and he's trying to say they pick who learns and who doesn't. Well, they were just taking people with potential for good or bad, right? Potential Jedi Force sensitivity, and training them. And
so do we hold any credence to what Lucas said when he says that anybody could be a Jedi?
Well, explain Rogue One. What's his name? The blind dude, Sharut, right? Mm-hmm. So explain Sharut. Sharut has some Force sensitivity,
right?
But he doesn't have it. And when we heard this explained in more depth, it was the opening of the door concept. So for some people, the door opens slowly and only partial. Other people, the door swings wide open really quick. So for Anakin, doors wide open and things come to him very naturally and immediately. Somebody like Sharut, the door is only open a small amount. It isn't entirely based on your faith in the religion. Sharut had probably more faith in the religion than young Anakin did. Young Anakin was probably, like in the Phantom Menace, was probably already displaying more Force sensitivity, Force ability than Sharut ever had. Mm-hmm. And Anakin didn't know a diddly daggone thing about being a Jedi and or the Jedi religion, and yet Sharut has been a lifelong practitioner. So do I take any credence in what George said? Some, but at the same time, when you look at, does that mean that anybody has the same potential as anybody else? Absolutely not. Force sensitivity for the folks that have like that the open door to them, it's going to come more naturally. Somebody that it's already shut, they may only be able to open it a crack or maybe none at all.
Right. The way I perceive it is that, I like the door analogy. I mean, and that it does open slowly for others, but it will open for everyone. That's the way I perceive that. So, what it means for somebody whose door opens more slowly is that it takes more sustained effort of pushing against the door, as it were.
But it may not ever open as in full.
You may run out of life before you open it fully. But that's far different than it'll never open fully. So like if you had the lifetime of a Yoda, it might open fully for you because you have the time. If you have the lifetime of a Wookiee, it might open fully for you. I mean, so it's not necessarily, and then so for some people they grasp concepts. If you think about it as a concept, some people grasp concepts really quickly, while others it takes a certain aspect of something takes a longer time to grasp a concept. And so it doesn't mean they'll never get the concept. It just means that it takes them a longer time. And so I think the idea that certain aspects of the Force, as the door will open more smoothly for somebody, I think that grants credence. It just depends on how quickly you can grasp certain concepts. And that we also know that there's talents within the Force. So there might be aspects of the Force that you might grasp more quickly.
Exactly. And I want to bring this up real quick. I see Star Wars Obsession here in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. I am going to be doing a live stream with Star Wars Obsession a little later this afternoon. So in just a few hours, 4 p.m. Eastern, adjust for yours, 1 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. in the UK. We're going to get on. We're just going to talk about some Star Wars. And it'll be on Star Wars Obsession's channel. So go check him out. And come join us if you can, and we'll talk about Star Wars over there with Star Wars Obsession later this afternoon. and I love this. In the chat, we've got the usual suspects, and in here, Green Bear. I love this. You make a better door than a window. Oh, I've heard that before.
So back to the concept that the taking memories away. So the idea of hypnosis or taking memories away and blocking memories, we know to be a case. It doesn't necessarily take away a talent. But if I take away your memory of, going back to the athlete, if I take away your memory of ever dribbling a basketball, and you would have to go back and relearn it again. So, that's the aspect of blocking a memory. And I'm not saying it wouldn't eventually open it back up to you. You might find you have a talent for it, but this, if you never knew that you had this ability, and you were introduced to a different place where there was no basketball, you may never pick up basketball again. And
there's another really good argument. I've heard people
and so that way you avoid, if basketball players have the potential to take over the world, you might want to do that, right? If they're not
well, I've heard the illustration given that we say that so and so is the best athlete in whatever sport they in the world. Well, they're the only best. They're only the most trained best athlete, because the best athlete may never have heard about that sport. And had they been trained and brought up in it, they might be a better football, soccer, tennis player than that person. So I get what you're saying. It's just, if somebody leaves the Jedi Order and they don't have their mind wiped, was Dooku's mind wiped when he left?
No, I agree. I just think it's one of those aspects where they choose these really young kids, and the idea why they choose them is so they don't eventually, at least in my justification of it, the reason why they choose them young is these kids have the most potential to become, tyrants on their worlds, in a sense, if they were to fall to the dark side or be picked up by dark side users. So they justify picking up early so they can avoid the psychological trauma that it would take for picking them up later, and then remove the potential for them to become these potential dictators. I mean, I'm not saying that's. I mean, I that's how I justify them picking up these young kids, and then just to release them seems like a completely antithetical to that aspect of picking them up early. Otherwise, it seems, really kind of cruel.
It is kind of cruel. It's not.
What it doesn't say, there's no justification for it.
And what Green Bear is saying here is exactly the danger of even allowing that thought process. Say, well, the ends justify the means. Oh, the potential that this person may become, to use your term, space Hitler. That means we can kidnap them and keep them away from their parents for the rest of their lives. It's justified. That's not fair. And what we see in most of the EU even is that the parents are complicit in it, right? So it's not like they just go kidnap these kids. They go and they talk to the parents and say, "Hey, your kid's got this great potential. We want to bring them into the order, and we'll raise them." And they bring them into the Jedi Order with permission. Not that they're being ripped away from their families like a kidnapper. So I think it's dangerous to say, well, the ends justify the means, that because of the potential of these kids, and then any kids that are going to fall out, we're going to wipe their memories so that they can't turn bad. That's terrible, right? I'm
just saying that. I mean, even when it comes to the parents giving permission, the parents are fully manipulated. It's not like the parents want to really give up their kids. It's just that the Jedi comes along. He's effectively a god in his own place, because there's only you have trillions of people in the galaxy, trillions, and you have, even at the height, there were only 10,000 Jedi. You're talking like a tenth of a tenth of a tenth of a tenth of a percent. It's like, so these people are just mystical. Most people have never even come across them. They're stuff of legends, and then they show up and they say, "Hey, your child has the potential to do this," and we think that you should give them up. I mean, a god just showed up at your doorstep and said, "Hey, we're going to take your child because your child has this potential." And I don't know what manipulation they do. We don't know, but they're definitely convinced that wherever they're at, they're going to go into a better place than where they are at. And so they willingly give these kids up. But at the same time, they don't want to give up their kids. It's their kids.
Right. I mean, it's just the Jedi Order. It's much like there are lots of problems with the Jedi Order, and I think that's what they've been trying. Lucasfilm's trying to in the story group, trying to explore further, and some of these concepts that taking kids away, the attachment bit, and there's all kinds of arguments to go around in the community about what is attachment, what's not, what's this and what's that. So I don't want to dive down that rabbit hole too far. It's just that look, that the reasoning for taking the kids is so that they could bring them up with full training and help them become protectors of peace.
Right. And they don't have to take them that early. That's the point. We've seen
no. Well, and they even argued about that with Anakin, like he was too old. And so it's.
But then what we see with Luke, who's way older, Rey, who's way older, it is not necessary. So that argument's removed.
Yeah, well, and that's what I mean. They've been chipping away at the edges of this concept for some time now.
Absolutely. I mean, I get that idea. So then you have to ask yourself why they do it, and that's why you have so many videos out there that says, "Really, aren't the Jedi the bad guys?" And so the justification you have to give is, again, it comes down to they're a tenth of a tenth of a tenth of a tenth of a percent of the population of the galaxy. All right, and if you were to say everyone that we have, let's just say that 99 out of 100 are the ones they chose not to pick because they were like, hey, they're not going to do it. Most even, then they go and boom, they all become dictators. Every time they don't pick one, 99% chance they're going to become a dictator. And they see that repeatedly. Then they're going to say,
well, I don't think that's the case. I think it's much worse than that. Is that they've seen it happen a couple of times, and now they're worried that it would ever happen again. And so they get younger and younger, so that they try to prevent that from happening. But I don't take it as heavy-handed as you seem to be indicating, like with your argument. Like, I don't think there's.
We have no evidence one way or the other. I mean, they're obviously presented to us in a good light, but I would say there's evidence that's a suspect that show, some sort of effective, legendary manipulation, where people just want to believe it's good, so they do it.
Well, you're not supposed to think about it too deep. What? That's part of it.
It's not possible. We're Star Wars fanatics. You got to think about it deep.
Well, I understand, but it's a slippery path, because when you start to try to make some Star Wars make too much sense, it falls apart really quickly. But it's more supposed to be the concept like a boarding school, where they go to get special training. Not
it's just Harry Potter in space.
Well, yeah. Essentially, that's sort of the idea, which is very interesting too. And
Gryffindor.
The topic's not exactly on the schedule today, but the series that may be coming out, that they may be starting to work on this summer, is rumored to be a High Republic era kind of show, and a bit of a Stranger Things kind of setting. So again, you mentioned Harry Potter. The thing this summer they're supposed to work on, this series that we still don't know too much about, is your preteens, early teens, that coming of age story of teenagers who are saving the world. And it's very common. That trope is common. It's existed in Star Wars before, and it's going to be the first time we kind of get it on screen in this kind of fashion. I'm really excited for it, and I think there is potential to have a Jedi Academy at some point, where it is more of a boarding school, more than taking younglings. Like, it may be more of a Harry Potter-esque kind of thing. And I had fun just a week or so ago, maybe a little over, asking if you were to set up a house system like in Harry Potter, who would the headmaster and who would the head of each houses be? And to make it easier, I said, which Force ghosts? So you have to pick a Force ghost to be a head of each house. Now, it wouldn't have the same names, right? So don't, Gryffindor, that's out the war. But what would the 4 Force ghosts be that would be heads of houses in a Star Wars type coming of age boarding school? So, and who would the headmaster be? So if depending who you pick as the headmaster, so if again the presumption is if the headmaster was, let's say, Ahsoka Tano, then the Force ghost would need to be something that Ahsoka would interact with, right? So would you? And you can only pick 4. So an obvious one is Anakin, right. Another one might be Luke. Do you pick Leia? Do you pick and that would presume that Ahsoka lived longer than Luke or Leia, right? If they didn't, then is your headmaster?
We're setting it up in the future in a Rey period.
If you set it up in a Rey kind of period, post Rise of Skywalker, Rey could be the headmaster, and then you would have your 4. Would you pick Anakin, Luke, Leia, and then who would your 4th be? Or would you pick somebody different, right? Would you pick?
We definitely don't pick Anakin for defense against the dark side.
No, that's what I mean. So yeah, that's a teacher. That's not a head of household. Head of household. Head of household. Think of head of household. So head of household. You would have 4 different houses. One that would be more based off of wisdom, another based off of cunning, another based off like the houses in Harry Potter are. And it's a fun question.
3 basic Jedi. I mean, I mean, if you want to break it down, plus you had the Jedi, I'm trying to think, the guards outside. I can't think what they're called. My brain just went blank. But you got your counselors, you have your the Sentinels, and you have the what's the third one? Because they basically had their three different colors for at least in the old EU. They had three different colors for the lightsabers, and so you could break them up very similar to that, just taking from the EU.
Well, you got to pick a Force Ghost.
And
Force Ghost.
Right, but I mean,
that's
the
rule. You can't be just picking some.
Or you could do Qui-Gon Jinn as a he's on a full ghost. So, but assuming he can come back as a ghost fully, Qui-Gon Jinn would make a pretty good one. I think he'd actually make a better Sentinel. I think it's Sentinel.
And do you bring Yoda in? Does Yoda get a house?
Like he gets an honorary ghost because he's your.
When you pick four, you got to leave some out.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a fun thing to think about.
Holdo McGonagall.
Well,
I think Leia's in McGonagall.
Again, Holdo's not a Force ghost, so you'd have to go Force ghost types,
So is your Force ghost become your teachers? Is that how this works?
No, they're heads of household.
Oh, heads of house.
Heads of house, not teachers. Heads of house. So you got 4 houses. You get one head for each house. So like you had Slytherin was Salazar Slytherin, right? You got Gryffindor was Godric Gryffindor. Those were your 4 heads, right? So who are your 4 heads of household? Okay. But they have to be Force ghosts.
I'm tracking. I'm a little slow. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not picking this
like,
up.
What? Listen to my words. Yeah. it's okay. So it's just to me, it's a fun exercise. It's complete silliness, but it's fun to think about if you were to have a coming of age teenage story. It would be in 4 houses.
I definitely think you got to have. As far as heads of house, Yoda would be one. That's definitely one. I think your other one is Good Revan.
Good Revan.
Yeah.
Okay. You got 2 more.
And then darn it.
You're gonna leave Anakin out?
No, I don't think he's a head of house.
No. Okay.
I mean, he's powerful, but he's not a head of house. And,
but is Force Revan even a Force ghost? Good Revan? Is he a Force ghost? He's not a Force ghost.
Yeah, he is.
Well, not in canon.
No, but he just made it in canon as it was and just buried by mention.
You want to make up your own rules. These are my rules. My house.
No, in the story, you see a Good Revan as a Force ghost in the video games.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I didn't make that up.
Anyway, so
we don't see bad Revan as a Force ghost, but you see Good Revan as a Force ghost.
We need to get to our fan film of the week, and as we do when we do these fan films, we like to encourage you guys to follow the link out to their YouTube page. Please just leave a comment, leave a like, a dislike if you don't like it, whatever the case is. Give them that interaction. Let them know that we're sending folks out there to see this thing, and that we appreciate the work they put into it. And these guys here, 7 Cube Films, I was looking through their comments earlier, and I saw Wolf. We talked to him just a couple weeks ago. So this is he's part of this community as well.
Oh, yeah.
And they're saying, hey, just please come on out, give us a like, give us a subscription, if you will. That's up to you guys if you want to subscribe or not. But I'm going to let this play in the background. You can tell us a little bit about, and I'm going to turn up the speed here because this is 20 minutes long and we want to get this moving right along. But you can tell us a little bit about the selection, why you found this, and what your thoughts are about all this.
We were talking about the aspect of one. This is a series. I discovered it was a series, so there's actually multiple of this. So this work. So definitely go check it out, and you'll start seeing more. And we'll bring some of the series back. I won't do it next week, but we'll bring some of them back in the future. But yeah, go check it out for sure. But this one, I like this one because it's kind of that space mystery story, which we don't get too often in Star Wars. And I thought that I thought it was pretty well done as they kind of lay out this small band going to check out a mystery and then walking in this derelict ship. It definitely reminded me of some of your sci-fi horrors in the past. I enjoyed it as that.
Oh, we got an ad.
Oh, we got an ad.
Yeah, Ashley Furniture. You can go get yourself a new mattress. There you go.
I got one of the purple mattresses. I like that one. It actually sleeps really well.
We have a sleep number. The air mattress, the thing with those are the best investment we've made in our lives.
Yeah, I thought this purple mattress was amazing. I haven't slept the way I slept. I mean, I used to have, I broke my back and jumping out of airplanes. So I mean, when I got that purple mattress, I was like, oh wow, I don't think I've slept this well in over a decade.
So one thing I noticed about this fan film, some of the stuff we see with the Unreal Engine, it makes it tough to pick out actual actors from the engine. And in this case, this is a mix. It looks animated. Right. This doesn't. There's nothing in here that fools you into thinking that this is. Something else.
I think this is Unreal 4, which doesn't have the same realism as Unreal 5. So
excellent. And I also thought it was interesting. They've got a whole crew of people on this, and it took them quite a while to put this. I think it was 4 months for them to do this story in full.
Right. So and the fact that they have multiple of these is even more of a testament to their capabilities.
Yeah, it's a ton of work to create these, but you can see them messing with gravity. You can see them messing with lighting. You can see different textures and effects. They did the animation. It's a bit of a cheat when they have a helmet on, because you don't have to sync mouths
right
to words, but in this case they actually had some interaction with characters not wearing helmets, right? I thought that overall the quality of the work is fantastic.
No, I really enjoyed it and thought that, I mean, it was done in a way that definitely tells the story and you definitely get into the story. I found some of the dialogue kind of interesting. Probably wouldn't have used some of the phrases they picked in there, but I mean, I think it was really good for what it is. I mean, I think that it's but I thought the story overall was fun and it's told really well, and I'm very they keep the mystery going for quite a while.
Yeah, and it is well done. And I was listening to it again, and they are building up a story. And as you mentioned, this is a series, so once this, watch this, there'll be additional works added to it. Which is quite a bit of commitment. And we talk about fans. A lot of fans, they like to complain about Star Wars. Like I don't, but we all have things that we
don't complain. You're a shill.
Well, that's true
about
too.
People who complain.
That's been established. Yeah. but
that's why we all have.
We all have parts of Star Wars that we kind of nitpick, or pieces that don't land with us as well as others. Some of it resonates with us better than others. But here you got some folks that really take the passion to craft a story, to go through the not only the writing process of a script, but then all of the work to animate light and create this in a visually appealing way. It's quite impressive, and I have mad respect for these guys. Right?
Yeah, and I know how difficult it was for me just to produce and get the basic comic kind of story, a motion comic kind of story in a way, and that would take me, a good month or two to put one together. I'd recording, get the art done, draw it myself, put it all together. It was me and one other person doing the art for that, and so and that would just take forever to
Yeah.
do, and let alone trying to animate it in in a computer program, which is something we want to do, and I'm hoping we'll get a little more time to to improve our skills with it. But yeah, I mean, so when you get getting a team together and getting a couple of people together on the same script is hard to do. Let alone getting a whole team to do all this.
Oh, it's great. A couple of things as this kind of wraps up and we start to get ready to finish the show. I'm going to leave this playing in the background. We have some things happening here for the channel. We've added a Patreon support page. So we've had 3 levels of support for our channel members at just $2, $5, and $10 a month. Those are the 3 levels, and we do monthly giveaways. We've been giving away Hasbro collectible figures, so Vintage Collection or Black Series. We've got some figures ordered for our Elite Squad members, those $10 a month folks, that are going to be really, really $100 and up. These figures that we've ordered. One of them is supposed to come any day now, and we'll be taking a look at it. It's from SH Figure Arts, Boba Fett, and it is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. That'll be coming in just a couple of weeks. But we're moving to some partners that we've kind of formed some relationships with. David Tree with all the cool stuff over in the UK, and then we've got the folks with Old Republic Collectibles in Oklahoma here in the U.S. And we're reaching out to some folks in Australia. And what we're going to do is we're going to move to gift cards. We'll give you a $20, $30, or $50 gift card every month, and we'll draw winners for those. So if you're a member here and you would like to see the Patreon only content, you can join over there for just $1. Well, it's the lowest that Patreon would let me go. So for $1, you can join, and we'll be putting together some Patreon only content. It's going to be more off-brand things that you wouldn't see that YouTube doesn't like, and maybe some off-topic, maybe not Star Wars. Maybe we will talk about Harry Potter. We'll talk about Lord of the Rings. We'll talk about. I've already put out a request to my friend Captain Pennsylvania to talk about King Conan. And we're going to talk about King Conan, perhaps as the very first one. And Nikki is one of our great supporters, and she's been here, and she disagrees with Santa on almost everything. And what we want to do is have, that most people are, but and so
like we're talking about Conan, King Conan the Barbarian. That's another thing that I would love to talk about. I love.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that with Captain Pennsylvania. He is a huge Conan fan. I mean, that's his number one. That's his bread and butter. So we're going to talk to him about that. And the reason is because when we're getting ready to get the Book of Boba Fett, they said it was inspired by 2 things. One was The Godfather. The other was King Conan. And my friend Jason Ward had kind of picked up on that beforehand, but we want to get, yes, Cap likes to talk about Scotty Summers too, but maybe we'll talk about the X-Men down the line, but that's what we'll do for our Patreon only page. So just for $1, you can join there. Hey, look, Trucker Mark's here. He's driving through Salt Lake City, Utah. Oh my goodness. Good to see you here, Trucker Mark. I was just thinking about you earlier. So, and there's a reason, but don't want to get too far off topic. So here you go. Please, you see here, they've got Patreons. These folks, go out and check out their YouTube. And I just want to kind of talk about a couple other things here as it relates to our new Patreon page. We also have the 3 levels of support in Patreon. So if you're not a member here in YouTube, you can join as a member in Patreon, those same 3 levels, $2, $5, and $10 a month. So that's up to you all, and what fits your budget best. And so please support if you have the means to do that and would like to support us. We're going to move to some business partners, some collectibles where you can order what you like and get a gift card, $20, $30, or $50 a month. And the information for that is out there on Patreon. The link to our new Patreon page is in the description here. But we have another exciting part, and I saw that folks were mentioning. I have reached out to custom lightsaber manufacturer, the Custom Saber Company over in England. These folks, it's DC Sabers, and they're going to make a custom lightsaber for Santa. They're going to make a custom lightsaber. It's going to have etching. We're designing it now. We're talking about the components and how to put that together, and we're making it with the LED blade that you can pick your color. So if you want it to green or red or purple, whatever the color of the day, yellow, you can do that. All with the same blade. You don't have to change blades. So we're working on that right now. And DC Sabers, we're going to be talking to them, and maybe once we get these manufactured, we'll give you all a special code to use to purchase one of those and maybe get a discount. The price, Dawn, for this first one is quite high. It's high. It's quite high. It's in the ballpark. Well, it's over $500. Let's put it that way. It's over $500, and it could go well over $800. We're still working on it. So you guys won't have to buy an $800 saber if you don't want to get me. Don't get me wrong, but we'll be talking to them. I'm going to be reaching out to them to get. And we'll share more of that along the way as we get closer. But we just signed the contract for
Christmas.
Yeah, we just signed a contract for it yesterday, and I made the deposit, and so we're moving forward. I got permission to use them as a partner. They're one of our partners. So we're working.
Deliver it, Santa. I want you coming down the chimney.
Well, it is going to. We're talking about maybe a custom box for it, a display case, all kinds of great things. So we'll be working on that. We just wanted to let you all know that we're making some changes here. You see the logo has changed a couple times. They have been messing around with that. We've got some works for a new intro. And my good friend Russell, and you guys saw Jason in here earlier, some dear friends of mine, just wonderful, wonderful people. Russell's helping us out with some video projects as well. And Mark, of course, Mark Hamilton's been helping. So you guys behind the scenes, we've got some fantastic people that are working really hard for this channel so that we can create some merchandise. We can take the channel to the next level, and we can maybe make some things available to all of you. Ducky, I'm going to have to skip lunch for a couple of months to afford it. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But we'll show you all. We'll have a talk about it as we get closer. But if you'd like to go check out DC Sabers, the link to their page is in our channel information. Or you can just Google DC Sabers. They're in Nottingham, England.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where Robin Hood used to hang out. Yeah. Well, they're a little bit of a drive for Meg. I think Meg and my friend Martin Keeler, they're in that neighborhood, but they're over in Nottingham, England, and so I'm looking forward to that. And hey, I saw Ghost
Robin Hood sabers.
Yes. Ghost Fixter subscribed. Thank you for that so much. We really do appreciate the support. And you guys doing just as much as subscribing to the channel helps us out tremendously. My friend Meg just went over 100,000 subscribers. Woo-hoo. That is super impressive. Yeah.
She did it fast. I remember when she came on and she had under 10.
She is, well, she's deserved every single subscriber she has,
You've done really
times
well.
10. I can't wait till she hits 1 million. She's a fantastic person, another fantastic human being, and we've got some great people in this community, just tremendous people. And that's sort of the point of it. You know, we've got people of all different political, religious, ethnic, whatever backgrounds. That doesn't matter to us at all. That doesn't matter. You know, if you like Star
we really
Wars,
only have one criteria, and that is, do you like Star Wars?
yeah. And if you like talking about Star Wars, we like to talk about Star Wars with you. And so we'll be doing that with Star Wars Obsession here in just a couple hours, 2 hours from now. A Magic Maker, appreciate you being here again with me today, my friend. Any closing thoughts as we get ready to close out?
I just want to tell everybody thank you, and I hope to continue to work here, and I hope that Santa will keep having me, even though I like to argue with him, and I enjoy every moment of it, and I hope to have sometime in the near future start putting out some videos. But I keep saying that. But
Yeah.
Anyway, I love all y'all, and I love you, especially Santa, for always giving me a place to put my voice out. And everyone, may the force be with you.
Thank you all. And you all have a wonderful day. And Trucker Mark, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. I'm so appreciative of that. Thank you. I know what it takes to be out there on the road driving, and for you to take and become a member of this channel means a ton to me. I've been out there. I've sat in that seat, and I've kept those tires rolling. It takes a lot of work. So appreciate that, my friend. Thank you for being here. Glad to have you here. You guys have a wonderful day. We will see you hopefully tomorrow with Star Wars Meg on our week, the end of week Star Wars news roundup. And until then, my friends, Merry Christmas, y'all. Bye-bye. The Mike Porter dad joke. Why was Dooku always precise with his saber? Because he always